All right. Hello. So I'm Mary Elizabeth. I'm the communications manager with Georgia Organics, and this is the Atlanta Foodcast video edition. We are still in pandemic, and we're here talking with the EliYahu of Atlanta Harvest. So welcome. Thank you for.
Thank you. Yeah, shalom, everybody. My name is EliYahu Ysrael. I am the owner and operator of Atlanta Harvest, but it's really a family farm. Me and my family have been involved in agriculture for over 10 years. We've got two locations, one in Dublin, Georgia, called Local Lands Organically Grown Gardens, and our other in Jonesboro, which is Atlanta Harvest.
Awesome. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your background. We were chatting a little before this about how you were a New York transplant that is becoming a Georgia. So
that's becoming a Georgia peach.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So yeah, tell us about your family and kind of how y'all got started and the plans y'all have and track going on.
Great. So yeah, long story short, my dad, there was some divine intervention at play, and my dad knew that Georgia had to be the next location, and we grew up in the Bronx, and so it was a bit of a distance, but we weren't super far from agriculture. We used to do hydroponics and aquaponics in our home in the Bronx, and he said, we're going to move to Georgia and we're going to get some land. Well, he said, we're going to get some land first, and then he said, we're going to move to Georgia. And so I followed on after my dad. I was about 13 years old, and we came upon a 40-acre farm that was just wheat and trees, and turned it into a fully functioning, organically grown farm.
Wow.
So we've been working on that for a while. Blood, sweat, and tears have gone into that. And it took us about 3 years. It took us 3 years to really get on our feet. And so if there's anybody watching this that's really interested in getting into agriculture, do an internship. But 3 years in, we started doing business in Atlanta, and then kind of took off from there. So we sell food at farmers markets, restaurants, wholesale food hubs, and now we actually have our own farm stand. So the location in Jonesboro, called Atlanta Harvest, is where we do our farm stand. We cycle lots of the food that we grow, most of the food that we grow, pretty much now, most of the food that we grow from the big farm down south to Jonesboro to go to many of the homes in Atlanta for a lot of people that are on our food box program right now, which we're making deliveries all over Metro Atlanta. That's where your food is coming. We got Atlanta Harvest about 2 years ago and started the farm stand, but also, well, the real inspiration to getting Atlanta Harvest was us building an organic nursery. And so the closest organic nursery is so far, I think it's like North Carolina. And so we were trying to build an organic nursery so that we could supply all the urban farms in Georgia with organic starts. And so we had started that, but while we were there, a lot of people were coming by and saying, are you guys, you guys selling food? Because we were building greenhouses. And so we were like, yeah, we could sell some food, and so we built a farm stand completely from scratch and built it in what used to be the parking lot. And it took off. I mean, especially when the summer came, we were cycling a lot of food through there, using the food that we grow, obviously, and then some other local farmers around our farm down south, and selling good, naturally grown, organically grown food. We also sell some conventional food from other farmers out in Georgia, and we really base our stand on local, naturally grown small business. So a lot of the products, even outside of the produce, come from small businesses, local businesses, chemical-free businesses. So for instance, just to give you a short list of the things that we sell, right now we've got produce, right? So fruits and vegetables. We sell meats. We sell beef and lamb, which are animals that we actually grow. We actually raise, right? So produce, meats, teas from our own tea company, which is called Tea Farm. Teas, coffee, dry goods, jams, jellies. We sell health drinks. We sell body products. And we sell plants. And so it's
Full
transformed a lot.
operation.
Yeah, it's transformed a lot from when we started, but our prerogative is being of service to the community. And
Yeah,
so whatever that means, if
yeah,
people, I mean, obviously in agriculture, but, people need a garden built. We
yep,
build gardens. We send out teams to do edible landscape.
yeah.
Uh,
I think that's
and
one of the coolest things that you guys do because, especially right now, when there's such an increase, it's the whole like return of the big kind of mentality. But like a lot of people also just don't necessarily have that skill set. They know grow their own food or at least try, and then maybe
yeah,
supplement with something grown by a farmer. But I think it's so cool that you guys will go out and like enable that. Like you'll bridge
yeah,
for them to like start their own garden.
we actually, uh, I think right after the first summer that we were here, we started a nonprofit. It's called Cultivating Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And with Cultivating Humanity, we educate, right? Our
Yeah.
focus for the nonprofit is education and access to food, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we'll use the nonprofit to like make food deliveries or host events where, host events where we can like sell food or donate food or just
Yeah.
service the community in terms of agriculture that way. And we also use it we donate a lot of our food boxes. We donate a lot
Mm-hmm.
of boxes to homes in need or families in need through the nonprofit. And we also educate, right? And so
Yeah.
we do classes, we do events that, we invite people to come over to learn about how to prune tomatoes. And so
Mm-hmm.
we've actually haven't had a class in a while, but that's because obviously COVID. And so I'm trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to do
Yeah.
virtual classes and how to set that up and get people to like join in via video so that we can help them with the gardens that everybody's doing now, try to
Right.
figure out what's
Yeah.
going on. So,
That's very
just
good.
so the whole thing is just, being of service to the community in whichever way we can and trying to extend ourselves because, everybody's focus should be first is food, right?
Yeah.
You got right. And
Yeah.
so, how can we get back to a time where Georgia was all about ag? All
Right.
we want to refocus that attention and help people to be able to sustain themselves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously y'all have such a kind of robust operation, but then of course everything has been upturned since mid-March. So tell us a little bit about what y'all have done from a business standpoint, from a, community engagement standpoint. How have y'all shifted with this pandemic landscape that we're in now?
Oh man, the beginning was rough. I'll tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah, beginning
Yeah.
was rough, and everybody's been affected.
Right.
I've got some real terrible horror stories from a couple of my friends further
Yeah.
down south. But my father, being extremely business savvy and understanding the times, was able to perceive the shift in how people would go about getting food.
Yeah.
Especially with when you started to see toilet paper go off the shelf. You
Yeah.
know, it's that
Yeah.
about that time he was like, okay, well, things are going to start running out. People are going to
Yeah.
start building up, and people are not going to have much access left.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get the food that people need to them in a
Right.
safe way?
Right.
Home deliveries,
Yeah.
right? And so we were doing home deliveries before with our CSA program, but it was really just for the local community, so people around
Mm-hmm.
Jonesboro. And so we plan to do home deliveries and try to give Metro Atlanta, the whole of
Yeah.
Metro Atlanta, access to good food.
Yeah.
So while the pandemic started to get on a roll, we were restructuring our
Mm-hmm.
business, changing our models, and putting things in order so that we would be able to sustain a large amount of customers,
Yep.
and be able to run a lot of food through Atlanta Harvest. And
Yeah.
so now our food box program, like I said, covers Metro Atlanta. So
Awesome.
it's almost like it had to happen as well because
Yeah.
we serve a lot of restaurants in Atlanta, with restaurants
Right.
closing and wholesale food hubs that would buy from us to sell to other restaurants closing. Who
Mm-hmm.
was going to eat all this food? And that's
Right.
a lot.
Right.
Like, I know a lot of people hear some stories about, oh, like farmers are burning their fields and pouring out milk and stuff like that. And so how do
Yeah.
you get the people the food that they need? How do you keep yourself from wasting food and wasting all the hard work you do? Because, as an organic farm, It's
Yeah.
literally backbreaking. Well,
Right.
maybe not breaking, but it's lots
It's
of sore backs.
back straining at
Back
the very
straining.
least.
So how
Yeah.
do we get that to the people? And so our food box program right now is really thriving. And
It's
so we
great.
serve
That's great.
as far as East Point,
Uh-huh.
as far west as East Point. Isn't that so funny? On the west side, it's called East Point.
Yeah, East Point. Yeah. I was
Um,
reading about that too. It ties in with the railroad, I think. It's yeah.
yeah.
It's like
New
Iceland,
York is
Greenland.
not like
Like I
this.
don't what? Yeah.
But all right, so as far west as East Point, as
Uh-huh.
far east as Conyers,
Yeah.
as far north, I think right now our most northern community is like 5 Points because we've
Uh-huh.
got the big drop off with
With
the
the
Wrecking
midweek,
Bar.
yeah.
Um, and I think we're going to open Gwinnett soon.
Oh,
And then as
awesome.
far south as Locust Grove,
Okay.
and then pretty much everywhere in between.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
That's a
we're
lot.
doing a lot, but
And
there's a
that's
lot of
all within, yeah, and so that's all within the past couple months that this like
yeah,
fully formed. That's crazy.
yeah. I'll
That's
tell you, big
yeah.
shout out to our new CSA system, which I'm sure we'll
Mhm.
talk about a little more in depth. But
Yeah.
being able to see the times as they shifted
Yeah.
and introducing new systems allowed us to be able to
Yeah.
breathe and grow and transition.
Yeah. I mean, perfect segue. Thank you for that. But like, I definitely want to talk about technology and platforms and how that's figured into this growth. And yeah, I guess any advice you'd have for farmers who either are thinking about making that transition or made it, and like how can they make it
Yeah.
better? Yeah, definitely let's speak to kind of the technology and operations side of things.
Mhm. So we transitioned to a system called Harvey Farms.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new system. They've only been operational a few years, but they are growing
Yeah.
phenomenally.
Yeah.
It's a very, very tight system, like a close knit team that operates it.
Mm-hmm.
But they are very, very perceptive to the needs of farmers,
Yeah.
especially small family business operated and owned farms like we are.
Yep.
They really understand like we're short on time. We're always in the
Right.
field. We need something that's accessible, but also gives that's easily accessible for the farmer, but also easily accessible for the customer.
Yeah.
And that was really just the way that they interact and they deal in their customer
Mm-hmm.
service. They have a high level of customer service, and
You
so
really okay. That's good
that
to
was
hear.
one of the really
Yeah.
that was one of the selling points for us.
Yeah.
We actually got recommended to use Harvey from our friends at Snapfinger and
Yep.
Ecosystem Farm, and
Yep.
they said, we're new to it, but I really like it, and I love how the customers are adjusting to it. And the system that we had
Yeah.
before was customizable,
Mm-hmm.
but we weren't using the customizable option just
Okay.
because it was a lot of work. It was a lot of
Yeah.
work on our
This was
side.
the platform you had before Harvey.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so Harvey allows us to do 100% completely customizable boxes, right? Because we
Yeah.
do fruit and vegetable. So you can select what you want, when you want it, if you want
Mm-hmm.
extras, if you want to swap out items.
Yeah.
Um, and they actually have what I think is really neat is they kind of have this AI system. So the
Uh-huh.
system says, when you sign up, you say, hey, here's a list of things that Atlanta Harvest and local lands grow throughout the season. I
Yeah.
want you to go down this list and let me know what you like and what you don't like, right?
Yep.
So let's say you're allergic to bananas or you're allergic to
Right.
blueberries, something like that, right? You can say, I really don't like the blueberries.
Yeah.
Or, it doesn't let you say that you're allergic, but if you say, I really don't like something, it'll never go in your box. And so you don't
Yeah.
have to that. But then you can say I really like something. And so what that tells us as the farmer, or I guess what that tells the system, is that when we tell the system what we have on the farm that's available to put in boxes, they
Yep.
automatically fit
Yeah.
everybody with the things that they like and not the things that they don't like. And then
Right.
you can go in and customize it. And
Yeah.
so we've got the boxes, and then we do add-ons, and our
Mm-hmm.
add-ons include
Mm-hmm.
the meat, the beef, lamb, egg, like a beef share, lamb share, and egg share. We have a dry goods share. We've got a
Yep.
honey share. We've got a honey share, and we have I think we have a jam share.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
do we have a jam share? I think we might have
Trying
a
to think
jam
what
share.
I saw in my order. or to
Yeah.
really good options. Like,
So yeah, it's a wide list, and these are
yeah,
relationships that we've been building since we got here, and we knew
yeah,
that like we wanted to be able to be a one-stop shop for people. We
yeah.
started meeting other farmers and talking to other families, seeing what kind of products they have, and so
Mm-hmm.
we'll continue to have more products and to incorporate more things. Like
Yeah.
I'm working on dairy, so we don't know how that's.
Ah,
We're trying to
love
see.
it. Love
So,
it.
but yeah, and so all those things are available for you to add, and then, like I said, pick up locations. Right now, you can pick up at the farm, or you can pick up at
Yep.
Wrecking Bar, or you can do a home delivery in a lot of cities or a lot
It's
of
awesome.
areas around Metro Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I mean, while we're here, so tell folks about your website, how to get to the order form, social, things like that.
Cool. Yeah. So our website is www.atlantaharvest.com.
Yep.
You can go on that website in order to find the portal that'll take you into Harvey so that you can sign up
Mm-hmm.
for the box.
Yep.
And you can just check out all the other things that we have available. So you'll find a link to our social media pages, our YouTube
Yep.
pages, our nonprofit. You can find information about the farmer and the things that we grow and the meats and prices on meats and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Our Instagram page, our Instagram handle is at Atlanta Harvest. And so is our Facebook. So facebook.com/Atlanta Harvest.
Yep.
And then we've got a YouTube page, which I'm building as time
Yeah.
goes on. I finally have a little time to actually do some media, you know?
Yeah.
So we're doing like gardening tip videos. So
Awesome.
me and
Yeah.
my brothers here, who've been growing for a long time, we're like, people are always coming to the shuk, what we call the open air market. We call it the shuk. And
Yeah.
people are always coming to the shuk and saying, how do I do this? How do I grow this? What kind of soil do I need? So I'm trying to answer all those questions in a
Yes.
format that
I
people can
need
enjoy
that.
at home. Yeah.
So, yeah. I've
So
got my like
we're trying to
tomatoes
do that.
going, but I'm like, I don't know. Do I need to like add some stuff or do I need to?
Oh yeah. Oh, I got a good
Yeah.
video for you. Trust me, it's
Okay,
coming.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
y'all's
yeah, so
videos are awesome. So I had,
thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, that gives me a little bit of time, to do some videos, but I can't stay inside too long. Got to get back to the field. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No AC or anything like that. Don't get too.
right, exactly.
Well, tell us a little bit about your customer now. I think it's been so interesting to hear from farmers about, now that these online platforms are here, it's really opening up a lot of access opportunities for people. But then there's also customers, I'm sure you've got a bunch of new customers that are coming to the farm stand with questions and like just now, maybe they're either just now getting engaged with
Mhm.
organic or locally grown food, and then maybe they're kind of diving even deeper and wanting to get into
Yeah.
more stuff. So
Hmm.
what has your customer been like? And two, like, what do you see as the future? Like, what do you see for customer retention? Like, best
Mm.
scenario, everything's fine, grocery stores are open. How do you hold on to those new customers that you're getting?
Well, first, I want to give a huge shout out to some of our supporters because without these organizations, we probably would not have gotten the kind of exposure that we're getting right now.
Mhm.
And those organizations are, of course, Georgia Organics, Foodwell Alliance, and
Yep.
Wholesome Wave Georgia.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about Wholesome Wave Georgia right now because
Yeah.
Wholesome Wave Georgia really opens up a new field of customers for us. And
Yeah.
so, if you've got if you have like if you can work with SNAP and EBT and
Mm-hmm.
take EBT payments at your stand at your farm,
Yep.
that's great. That always opens up new doors for you. But through that and through being able to have access to selling to those customers, our work with Wholesome Wave Georgia allows customers who would like to buy produce to
Mm-hmm.
get it half off.
Right.
Oh, can you hear that? I hope not.
You're good. You're good.
Let's get it off. There we go. Okay, cool. So, Wholesome Wave Georgia allows customers to get produce at half the price.
Yep.
So you can come and get $20 worth of produce for $10. And that
Right.
is phenomenal. And people love that. And when people hear that we have that
It's
program
huge.
at the Shuk, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
And actually, if you didn't know, you can also use that to buy plants. Produce comes from plants.
Yeah.
So you can also get your plants for half off. So it's a wonderful opportunity for people who have SNAP benefits, and it just their work with us allows us to be more open and available to those customers, and bring them in and start the conversation about local food and healthy
Yeah.
food. Because what's sad is that a lot of SNAP EBT recipients, they spend a lot of those dollars on unhealthy things,
Right. Right.
and so a lot of them just don't have the understanding. They don't know where they could go to for farm fresh food. They've never been to a
Right.
farm store, or they don't know what healthy food looks like. And so
And
Wholesome Wave
literally
Georgia,
take those dollars twice as far.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Wholesome Wave Georgia allows them to have an opportunity to answer those questions. Where can they go to shop for a farm? How, what is farm fresh food, and why is it important to eat? And you can get it half off. And so,
Yeah.
big shout out to them for their
Yes.
work and collaborating with us with opening that opportunity up for customers.
Yeah.
On the regular, I feel like people that are used to eating organic and are used to shopping at farms, when they find a farm in their area, they're down for it. It's kind of automatic. And so we've had, especially in the beginning, we had a lot of customers coming from all over Atlanta. Like I even had somebody come down from North Carolina. I'm not even sure how that happened, but but
Awesome.
there are some things about it that just make it marketable automatically. And so, organically grown, family owned and operated, Black farmers. And so all these things, fill up our image, and encourage people to shop with us just because they want support. And so a lot of it is just raw support from the community.
Yeah.
A lot of people shop with us because they love the product and they love the quality that they receive. And that's always been important to us. Like I said, it took us 3 years because we were like, I'm not going to sell tomatoes that don't taste right.
Don't do it halfway. Right.
Exactly. Can't do it halfway. And so that dedication, that and that drive that we are fueled with to grow good food for you, good food that's good for you, that's nutrient dense, that also tastes amazing, bring customers back all the time.
Right.
And then you've got new customers who like a lot of EBT recipients who've never been to a farm, or they were passing by and they just seen it and they're like, what is this? And they're interested. They've never done this before. It's us opening up ourselves as a resource. And so, a lot of times I have really long conversations with customers because I'm filling their heads up with, how do you cook this? How do you make this? These are, we grow a lot of unusual things. So we do lots of Asian cucumbers, Asian greens. We do Italian eggplants and Turkish eggplants. We got a lot of interesting things. So people are always asking, how do you make this? And that conversation, opening up their minds to the possibilities of food, bring them back. They're like, I want to try new things. I loved that. And just being able to be, for them to have access to a farmer.
Right.
That's important because
it's the truest sense of community, I think.
Yeah.
That's what I see about, being a born and raised Georgian. I know that my grandmother would always reference she would literally say oh, that's the blueberry man, or those they were anchors of her community. Yeah. She could go to them. She could ask them about canning. It was being that.
Have that information.
Figure.
Yeah. And everybody in the community had a job, and everybody was a resource to each other. And so we're trying to bring it back as much as possible. So having those conversations, spending time with people, and then also, educating them about things in agriculture, put them at a place of comfortability, I had a great time being there, just the vibe of the place, being able to talk to somebody and get education instead of having to look online and get information online. So that I think will retain the customers that we've gained, and so it's got to be one of those. It's like, I really love the product and I want to keep coming back, or I love you guys and I want to continue to support or
Mm-hmm.
you live down the street. I mean, you guys are down the street, so you're
Yeah.
closer than Kroger. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there are a lot of elements to it that I think are going to just naturally retain customers.
Yeah. Well, and
So when
especially I hope,
well, I think we'll be okay.
yeah. I mean, I especially hope to see that through SNAP and EBT recipients and the realization that, again, like this nutrient dense, like amazing food that also has such connection to it. I
Right.
That's something that really that sticks with our food community and our local food system. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, massive kudos to Wholesome Wave for how much they, not only how much were they already accomplishing, but how much they very rapidly expanded and
Yeah.
upped the, I think it's like the card machines and like the
Mhm.
communities that they're serving and everything. They
Yeah.
pedal to the metal during the pandemic. It's been amazing.
Yeah. All of you guys are really going above and beyond, and it's crazy because we all know that these are nonprofit organizations, and you guys are back straining.
We're back.
You guys are working, to make sure that that you're here for the community in their time of
Well,
need.
it's because
We grow
I
the
mean,
food. Everybody's got their job.
right. Well, I mean, it's just how deeply, and I just speak for the Georgia Organics team, how deeply we believe in the work of the farmer and how vital, absolutely vital it is to the health of Georgians, and belief in that local infrastructure and that the small family owned, you know, enacting really good practices that are better for the land and better for
Yeah.
the consumer. So it's all, I think everyone is so impassioned about it already, but now
Mhm.
when when you're under pressure and you have to realize like how many Georgians need good food right now. I think
Yeah.
whatever it's in it for.
Food is the root of everything, right? When you
Amen.
think
Yeah.
about how are you going to eat, like of the
Yeah.
basic of it, to the way that so many industries rely on the food industry to sustain themselves.
Yeah.
Food is got to be, our number one focus. And so
Mhm.
we live in a state that it's got beautiful environment and we can grow a lot of things. And so we're very agriculture minded, but this opens up the conversations for so many things. How
Mhm.
many conversations that I've had that go from talking about food to talking about the environment and
Right. Yep.
agriculture practices that help us to extend our time here
Yeah.
on this earth. So
Right.
I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for just being able to have these kinds of conversations, for my
Yeah.
dad to have the vision to do and
Yeah.
build what it was given to him to build, and for him to have the mind to direct me so that I could get on the path that was
Yeah.
right for me. I definitely feel 100% confident that we
Yeah.
are in the right place.
Absolutely. Well, I know from my perspective, having gotten my farm share last week and have one coming up, you're on the right path. It's delicious.
Thank you.
It's and let's talk real quick about, so you're a part of our midweek pop-up market.
Mhm.
It's a really good, it's Wednesday pickup at Wrecking Bar. You order Friday through Sunday.
Mhm.
So we've got you on our farm to restaurant website for that. It's all in our social media. We'll have links in the show notes. And then talk a little bit about the farm stand and when people can come out and hang out and meet you guys and
Great.
get from Atlanta Harvest. And then any other, like the deliveries, I guess we've talked about through Harvey, but yeah.
So our open times are 11 to 6 from Sunday to Thursday. So 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Friday, we're open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and we're closed on Saturday. You can come whenever you want during open times.
Yeah.
And come and check us out and come hang out and have a conversation, check out the food, check out the plants. We've got some animals at the
Awesome.
farm. People
Yeah.
want to see the animals. We've got some goats and some lambs that are out there right now just having a good old time in the field. So you can come and check
Apparently
them
it's
out.
Lamb Week. Have you heard this? I'm pretty sure.
I have not.
Yeah, I think it's Lamb Week. National.
Okay. What
Yeah.
does that mean?
I don't know. It's just a hashtag or something.
Okay, cool. I'll make some posts.
A lot of cute like lamb and sheep pictures on Instagram. So
Oh, great. I've got a lot of good, yeah, I've got a lot of good media to post. Cool.
good, good.
But yeah, so you can come out for that. We're actually in the process of moving location. So we'll be moving from Jonesboro to Ellenwood. So when you come here, there isn't as much to look at as there used to be.
Yeah.
A lot of up, a lot of our nursery houses, a lot more animals, and a lot more food being planted. But we're trying to transition in a few months to go to Ellenwood and set up property that's all our own, and be able to just build on something for generations to come. And so we're waiting for that opportunity.
Huge. Yeah.
To go out. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Something that I always talk about with some of my farmer friends, is that we don't have the flexibility that we need because we're working on land that's not ours. And so it's important for us, like it was for us to get, because we couldn't do any of this if we didn't own that property down south. It's important for us to have property that we own. Yeah. And so working with some of the other organizations to try to help us to get funding, and just trying to work it out so that we can get that. And so hopefully it comes in a couple months, but we'll be moving to Ellenwood. We'll let everybody know what happens. But for now, you can come by and pretty much get anything that you need in terms of eating or in terms of growing. If you need help to build a raised bed, we can give you some help. We also sell mulch and we sell compost. And we sell starters and a whole bunch of stuff. So you can come in and give us a look. Oh, and the address, you can find us on Google Maps. If you type in Atlanta Harvest on Google Maps, you'll find us with Atlanta Harvest in Jonesboro. And our address is 2024 Walt Stevens Road, Jonesboro, Georgia. Zip code is 30236.
I'll add that to the main post too, so we'll make sure people know. Yeah.
I say Stevens, but it's spelt Steffens. And so I know that there's like this Southern thing about like, it's pronounced Stevens, and like, I'm cool with that, but you got to type it as Steffens with a PH. So
yeah, you don't need to clarify that down here. We got that.
Okay, cool. In my head is confusing. So
there are many streets like that around. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad there's so much more we could talk about. Your wealth of information, and I think you have a lot of good points about things like ownership and about, the fact that making this generational is what will change the environment and our communities, and y'all are doing this. I mean, having a family-owned farm, and again, like pursuing property where you're not responsible to anyone but the growing needs of the land around you. So
exactly, but the community. Yeah, it's something that we focus on extremely is generational wealth, and that's why it's so important that my dad started this and built a structure that I could take over, so that I can come in and run it, and then when I have a son, then I can give it to him and we can continue this line. So our family, this becomes a family thing. And then we inspire people to do the same. Because I can't imagine, I couldn't tell you how many people are like, I'm really inspired by what you're doing. I really want to get my own land and build my own homestead. And so hearing those conversations inspires me much, because for us I'm not doing this because I want people to follow me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this because I want, recognition. I'm doing this because this is how I was raised. I know there are a lot of farmers who have land and have been doing this for so many generations, but their kids have no interest, and that breaks me.
It's heartbreaking.
So many family farms that have been open for years, have hundreds of acres. They've had that property for centuries. That now have to sell it, or who knows what's going to happen? Because a lot of people come by, they say, "Oh, my family left me some land out in South Carolina. It's like 30 acres, but I don't know what to do with that. So nobody's touched it in like 30 years." And it's just like, you could, there's so many things that, you could do with that, man. You could start a whole, You can start a whole business.
Right.
But it's
invest in that land.
yeah, invest in that land. And then using the land and building something sustainable like that
Right.
helps the earth. You know what I'm saying? It gives back to the earth, it gives back to the community, and helps us to create a stronger bond as Georgians or whatever state that you're in. Like I said, the root is food. Food is the answer.
Yeah, it is the answer. Yeah. So much. Is there anything else that we can wrap up with? I mean, I think that was a pretty strong finish. So
Yeah, one thing I do have one thing. I encourage everybody that's watching. I'm sure a lot of people that are watching are familiar with ag and ag Georgia and are, know a lot of farms, and I'm sure a lot of people are farmers, right, that are watching.
Yeah.
But I would implore anybody who's really just getting into this, find out who your local farmer is. You know what I'm saying? We do like a big hashtag, like know your farmer.
Yeah.
So, do some research.
Yeah.
Look up, you can go to Georgia Organics, right? You can go to Food Well Aligned, go to Wholesome Wave Georgia. There are so many resources that are available for you to figure out what's in your community. And I would implore you to do that research, find out small businesses that you can support, especially in this time. It's incredibly important that we solidify ourselves as a community. We talk about going back to normal. I don't think things are ever going to go back to normal. I think that we are creating a new norm, right? And so stick to that path. We got to continue to support small businesses, continue to find your local farmer, and build those relationships so that you can be more comfortable about the things you eat, right? Because I know doesn't it suck hearing that, romaine, there's a romaine recall, and you just bought some romaine at the supermarket. You're like, what are you going to do? Like, small farmers, they don't have those kinds of problems.
You don't get that. Yeah.
So that's it. I just, I want to inspire people to just keep moving forward and creating that community and relying on the resources. And I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to the people. And I've really enjoyed our conversation. I'd love to have more and to be more of a resource.
Absolutely. Yeah. We gotta do some gardening videos.
Definitely.
Great next step. And I mean, from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for what you're doing for the community and for Georgia and for our environment. I mean, that's the thing that we try to echo the most, is just our gratitude for the farmers that we're here to serve and help. I think that's a great point. It's just, whether you're interested in farming or just looking to find good food, just connect with your local farmer. We've set up the Good Food Guide. It's kind of a directory of people around you that are growing this amazing food that's nourishing and benefiting the community, just like y'all are doing. So thank you.
And even if you like just want to grow some basil on your windowsill, go find a farmer. He may have a basil plant for you. So highs and lows, whatever, anything deal with agriculture, find a local farmer.
Yes, they are geniuses. I was talking about trying to understand the farmer brain, because it's fascinating. There's a lot to it.
Wait till you meet my dad.
I'm sure. Maybe that'll be next edition.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much, and have fun. We'll include follow-up information in the notes and in our post to go inside with this Atlanta Foodcast. So thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
All right, sounds good. Have a great day.